Amateurism has existed in the sports world for decades, but has recently increased an extreme amount. The NCAA's amateurism clause states that players are prohibited to receive money or benefits from sources other than their scholarship. It prohibits athletes from getting compensation for their hard work, getting outside revenue, and taking any gifts from outside sources. The NCAA founder, Walter Byers, stated, "The NCAA is stuck in the plantation mentality of 1956. It is not prepared for what college athletes have become today." Byers, among many other athletes and outside standers, assume the amateurism clause will soon crumble. I am here today to inform you on the issue of amateurism in college sports involving impure relationships, education for student athletes, and funding for players. Over the years, sports have become more and more impure, and that has not gone unnoticed. Relationships between coaches and players have become more fake. Interests of the players are false, and money is going out to the wrong people fast. In the film The Business of Amateurs, directed by Daub DeMars, the mother of Oklahoma basketball player Kyle Hardrick reflects on her son's recruitment process. She was falsely informed that her son would be well taken care of at their school while on scholarship there to play. Her son had a so-called minor injury, meaning he would keep training. His family chose to go to an outside doctor to find out he had a tear in his knee. The university then denied to pay for his surgery bills since they went to an outside doctor for his diagnosis. This seems impure towards the family because the mother was only trying to get her son's injury properly treated so that he'd be able to perform throughout the season. College coaches are starting to say anything and everything to gain the trust of these families and these players, so their school will outweigh the other competitors. These students and their families see their athletic scholarship as an education and start into their future, either inside or outside the sports world, while the coaches and staff only stay there for athletics. While student athletes get to take full advantage of this with extra tutors, study hall hours, and help, but other student athletes have so-called tutors who help get the work done for the athletes. This takes away from the students actually learning and being able to use this material to compete in the real world for a career. It is important coaching staff see education before athletics because these kids are more than athletes, and they will soon enter a world outside of athletics. While these student athletes are on scholarship, there are still outside expenses they have to cover. They do not have spare time to work, so some try publishing music, selling merchandise, autographs, etc. For example, you can find a worn pair of college football gloves being sold online for at least $100. The NCAA currently prohibits student athletes from selling autographs, accepting money as gifts, and having contact with an agent without losing their amateur status and becoming ineligible to continue playing in NCAA games. These athletes are practically signing their name away without realizing it when they sign their letter of intent. In the film The First and 17 is a Washington Post documentary showing high school top recruit Deshaun Hand through the recruitment process and the celebrity that comes with it. They followed along his journey while also discussing the low odds of graduating college as a student athlete. When kids are recruited at this high of a level, the focus goes directly to the sport. These kids who end up being high school recruits and receive a lot of attention need better help to deal with the crazy amount of media they get today, as well as direction for college outside of sports. Lastly, I would like to explain the extreme amount of money brought into by college sports. These days, majority of teams are sponsored by somebody to help bring attention to this team or sport. For example, if a major company sponsors a game, there will most likely be more television coverage to bring in greater advertising revenues and to bring more exposure to the sport. A major negative to commercialization is players getting distracted or attention going from the sport to advertisements. All broadcasted games have each camera position sponsored by a different company. The commercials that are shown during these major games are the most expensive pieces of airtime. Out of all of this revenue, college athletes are only getting a scholarship. College athletes are looked at as property and revenue. They come onto your campus to perform so everybody else can profit from it. It is time for a change in college athletics and for these athletes. Athletes come to your campus trusting others with their best interests for their future.